Another one. This one's on authenticity in relationships, right? A lot of people wondering, I go back and I read comments, and if I'm in a flow to respond to it in a way where everyone can receive something in their own way from it, I make the video. Authenticity in relationships. A lot of people are basically also wondering, like, whether or not the relationships they're in, whether it's family, romance, friend, acquaintance, whatever. They want to know whether or not the relationships they're engaging in their life is actually truly for them. And again, this can apply to any interpersonal relationship across the board. It can even apply to business. You'd be surprised. So this really applies to any relationship that you feel is applicable to you, okay? No matter what relationships we're in, we always want to feel like the relationships we're in are truly for us and they're nurturing who we are. And when that's in question, we tend to not feel so safe or comfortable in those relationships, especially to the point where you could continue to expand on who you are. Your relationships do have an impact on your growth, your self-perception, and how you express yourself around others. It does have an effect on your energy, which has a direct effect on you and what you create, and how you behave and how you feel. So, needless to say how important your relationships are and who you decide to give your attention and energy to and your focus to, and how that affects you, because that's an energy exchange, right? So with that being said, are those relationships right for you? Well, one of the indicators of that, in a general way, right? Because there can be many indicators if we want to go into specifics of what types of relationships. But one of the indicators that can go across the board, one of them, and this is really important, is your freedom of authenticity. Can you expand on who you are in these relationships? Okay. A lot of times I do observe people, and myself as well, I've done it too, okay? I've done it. Especially years ago, where I had relationships, and we can all relate to this in our own way, where basically fostering relationships with people where you still feel like you have to contract on who you are. What do I mean by that? You have to suppress parts of yourself to keep the peace, or let me not say or do things this way because of their approval or validation, or keep the peace, or whatever. That's what I mean by contract. You're not expanding on who you are, you're closing it in. In a way, it's also a form of abandoning your authenticity. It's a form of abandoning yourself, because you're basically energetically saying, you're vibrating out saying, this person's approval or this false sense of peace is more important than my authentic expression. So, in a sense, you're telling yourself, your true self, your highest self, to take the back seat because you're trying to keep this external person in your reality. You're choosing someone or something else above yourself. That's what I mean by self-abandonment. You're willing to suppress, hide, otherwise abandon parts of you to accommodate someone else. Right? those relationships across the board, I would say, are not for you. They're not for you. Now, well, if the relationship's not for me, wouldn't it vibrate out of my reality? Well, that all depends on your choices. If you continue to align your decisions and your feelings and your perspectives and your behavior and your responses with self-abandonment, then it makes more than enough room for those who align with that and benefit from that to stay. It aligns perfectly with their energy in a way where they can continue to benefit from you doing that. Because the version of you that does that is also the reason why they're allowed to be in your life in the first place. A relationship that supports who you are, on the other hand, you will be able to have that safe space to test your own limits and challenge yourself. If they challenge you, they do it in a loving and respectful way. And they encourage you to grow. They encourage you to be more of who you are, because that's who they also align with. They align with who you really are. Those are the people that call out of you who you are. They want you to expand and make more room for yourself. They want to see the healthy boundaries that you created for yourself to protect your peace, your energy, your mind, your presence. Those are the people that lovingly challenge you when they see that you're struggling with something or unconscious of a behavior or perception that you have that may be hurting you. And they lovingly let you know. They do not do it in a form where it's disrespectful or degrading or manipulation or using it as a weapon against you. They do it in a respectful, assertive way, where you can feel the love undertone under the assertiveness that they're coming to you with. Assertive is not disrespectful. Assertive is gentle but firm. I love you, and this is what you're doing. They're being honest with you without weaponizing what they're being honest about towards you. Those relationships understand your need for autonomy and even encourage it, even in times where you may not be conscious of it or have fear of exercising it. Those are the people that when they give you advice, they don't give you advice based on what they feel you should be doing. They more advise you in a way where it gently inspires you to find your own way of expressing more of who you are. Now, here's the thing though. Either relationship, whether it's those who benefit from you not having boundaries and contracting who you are, and the relationships where they want to see you expand on who you are, either relationship supports exactly where you're at with yourself. So if you find yourself having relationships in your life where you have to suppress who you are, hide who you are, abandon who you are, reject parts of yourself to keep these people around, suppress your voice, fill it in with more of what applies to you that involves contracting yourself. Okay? If you find yourself having these relationships in your life, chances are you need to revisit what you are allowing in your life, and you need to revisit what parts of you that you are hiding, suppressing, or pushing down, or ignoring, or whatever. And visit those parts of yourself with love, acceptance, and compassion. I'm really big on that word acceptance. accept yourself where you are currently. Meet yourself where you are. Meet those parts of you where you are. Because those are parts of you. They don't just go away because we think we don't like them or we haven't come to an acceptance of it yet. They will rock with you. They are part of your energy. And unfortunately, until we accept those parts of ourselves and lovingly integrate them into who we are in a new way, they will bring these relationships. You're going to attract those relationships and those circumstances into your reality until you fully visit that part of you and finally accept yourself. Because when people do that, when they're hiding parts of themselves to maintain those in their life, they're seeking validation, external validation. When what that should be reflecting to you, flag-wise, is that there's parts of you that need your acceptance from you. That's the mirror effect of what those relationships are actually divinely telling you. There's parts of you that you're not accepting of yourself that need your love and your attention and your acceptance and your compassion. Once you actually meet yourself there and you accept yourself right where you are, the rawness of it, you fully accept it. This is who I am. This is what it is. Now you can actually learn to embrace these parts of yourself and make more room for your healing and your growth. As you do that, now these relationships that you did have around you are going to be challenged. So as you start to now push out and make more room for your own authentic self-expression and autonomy, and you start to formulate these healthy boundaries with yourself to protect what you're growing, those relationships are going to be challenged energetically. And they're, depending on how the responses are, you're either going to have challenging responses, like responses from them that challenge that growth, that want you to go back to suppressing and contracting to continue to stay in your life, or your authentic expression will naturally push them out. But you will face resistance because it's an opportunity to challenge what you truly want. Do you really want to expand? Do you really want to commit to loving yourself, accepting yourself, expanding your authentic expression as you are? These are divine, loving challenges. And you have the power to choose which route you're going to continue to take. You're either going to contract back, which a lot of people unfortunately do, or you're going to embrace the uncomfortability of continued growth, and they will vibrate out of your reality. You're going to attract more people who embrace who you are, who needed who you are, because you're finally starting to accept and embrace and express yourself. There are energies out there and divine relationships out there that are seeking you, but they can't find you if you're too busy huddled around people who are benefiting from you hiding yourself. You gotta slowly take the cloak off of external validation and expose your true authentic self, so that those who are meant for you can find you, and those who are not meant for you can vibrate right out of your reality. And you can attract more divine relationships that align with who you truly are. But it all starts with us. It starts within ourselves. Again, our reality is created based on our internal environment and our vibrating energy. And the patterns that you commit to, whether it's expansion or contraction, is what ultimately affects the frequency of your reality overall. So if you want to live on a higher frequency, authentic self-expression is up there with one of the most important things to be able to sustain a higher reality. Much love.